Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome back. So today what I'm going to do is get this border around the chicken coop area. So I want to put a border with about a foot off of the chicken coop foundation, and then I'm going to put some stone in there just to keep this red clay from splashing up onto the chicken coop and getting it all dirty. You can see kind of what we have here. When it rains, it just splashes up on there. So I want to prevent any of that from happening, and I think it'll just make it look a lot nicer. So what I'm going to do is take these 4x6s and I'm going to stand them up along the edge here, very similar to what we did with the play set, if you saw those videos. If not, go back and watch them. And so I'm just going to kind of line them on the ground here and get them leveled up and anchor them in with rebar. So these blocks down here were a pain to get dug in. This ground is incredibly hard, and we didn't have to go terribly far on this side. We had to go a good bit on that side. But what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to get all this cleaned up. I'm going to move this wood, put the bucket on the tractor, and get this all flat. And then I'm going to lay these out, see where we need to dig. And I think what I'm going to do, I don't have a trencher, which would be handy, or an excavator with a really thin bucket. But what I do have are some pallet forks. And so I think what I'm going to do, since we don't have to go very deep here, I'm going to take one of the forks off of the frame on the tractor and then just use that pallet fork to dig just a really thin trench. I think the fork width should be about the width of these, because I'm going to stand them up. I'm going to stand them up on end instead of laying them down this way. They're going to be standing up. So I only have 3.5 inches that I need to have trenched. So I think that's going to work really well, I hope. But we'll just kind of see what happens, see how that works. Hopefully that'll save me a lot of time and energy with trying to dig through this really hard dirt. So alright, I think I've done about all I can do with the bucket. This over here is just so hard. It looks like there's a bunch of rock in it too, and so it's just kind of skipping along the top of the ground. So I'm going to use the fork, like I said, for right here. I think we're down far enough here. I've got a little bit of a trench right here, but that's okay. It's not going to be that big a deal, because I'm probably going to backfill some of this back in a little bit. I'm going to clean up right here next to the frame for the foundation for the chicken coop. Just going to clean all that mess up and then see exactly where we need to be with the border, and go ahead and mark it with paint so that I know where I need to dig, because I think I got a little bit more on this side that I'm going to use the fork for. But I'll be able to tell a little bit more once I get this dirt taken back from right here. I've just kind of been using the cinder blocks as my depth measurement. So that's kind of what I've been doing so far. So we're just gonna continue on with that. This side over here, I'm probably just gonna get on that side with the tractor and then dig the bucket down and drag it back and pull some of that dirt back, and just do that slowly and just kind of work it back that way. I think that's going to work the best. I'm just going to have to move these swings and stuff out of the way so I can actually get down there. But so far going pretty well. If you saw me over here kind of digging in the dirt with my hands, there was a window, or actually two of them, you can see them right there, that were kind of laying over here and had gotten the glass all busted out of them. So I was trying to get all the big pieces of glass and stuff. And that's also why I kind of dug down pretty far over here, because I wanted to make sure there wasn't any glass left in the dirt over here. just since, you know, kids are gonna be around here, they're already over here playing right here, and I've always kind of told them to be careful of it, but this way I don't have to worry about it at all. So anyway, that's where we are. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and then see where we are with depth, and I'll try and get this side done as well.
Move. Move.
So on the other side, you saw I was kind of digging with the fork. So on this side, I just kind of put the fork in about like that and just drug it backwards. It was kind of walking a little bit because they're not, you know, fixed 100% tight on that frame. So it did kind of walk a little bit. My line's not very straight, but it at least broke the soil up some. So I think it'll be easier to make my trench. The chicken coop has some pressure treated 2x4s on the bottom, and so I want the rock that I put in here to be even with the bottom of that. So I'm setting this up here and checking my depth. So we're at about 8¼ inches there. Our height, total height, is going to wind up being 11 inches on those 4x6s. Because they're actually 5½ inches tall. So it's going to be 11 inches. So we've got some digging to do here in some of these spots. Let's check this low spot and see how close we are there. So that's 10½, so that's only an inch off. So I'm going to go ahead and use the spade and kind of start trenching this out and see how difficult it is now that I've got this little line here. And I may go back and dig some more with the tractor, but I'm gonna just kind of see how easy it is to finish out this trench with the spade. So now that we've got these trenches dug, you know, they're not all perfect. They're pretty close, at least. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and start setting these logs in here, not logs, timbers, whatever, these pieces of wood in here, and I'm gonna start leveling them. So now instead of 11 inches, our measurement should be 5.5. What, honey? Okay, go down there. So we're about 5 3/4, maybe 5 7/8. So we got to come up just a little bit on this end. What, honey? So I'm just going to set this off to the side a little bit. We'll shovel some of this dirt back in this hole. See where we are now. I also need to make sure that I am lined up here, so I guess I need to grab one more and set it right here, so that I know where the end of this one needs to be. Huh? Can I pick that up? Yeah, I picked it up. I did pick it up, didn't I? All right, y'all, we are finally done. It took about 2 days to get all this done, but I think it looks really good considering all the rock and stuff that we have here. It's not perfect by any means. You can see we've got some gaps that are not quite right and some angles that aren't quite right, but the issue that we have here is we've got so much rock in this ground that when you start to run the rebar in, it'll hit a rock and then it'll deviate that rebar and then it, you know, torques the top of it. So it winds up going in a little bit different direction than what you kind of want it to. So there's not really a whole lot I can do about that other than the only thing I could do would be to pre-drill the holes with like a rotary hammer and a really long masonry bit. And that's just more than I care to do. So I think it looks pretty good for what we've got, and you know, it'll serve its purpose of holding the stone in and making this a nice looking area once we get the chicken coop up. So I am probably going to backfill or along that edge. Once I get the stone in, I want to get the stone in first just in case it pushes out at all. You saw how that rebar does give just a little bit, so we'll fill it with stone first and then probably backfill that. I'm going to try to get some grass to grow here. I don't know if y'all remember, if you saw the first videos that I made, but we had pine trees here, and so this area was all shaded and we didn't get any grass growth there. But I'm hoping that now that we've got it open a little bit that I can get some grass to grow right here, and hopefully get this area looking a little bit nicer than just a bunch of dirt. Thinking about spreading some mulch up here. Obviously there's not going to be grass growing under the trees, but we can do some mulch. So try and get this looking a little better. But next step will be to get the stone in there, and then I will start assembling the chicken coop. So stick around for those videos, and if you haven't seen the rest of the project, go back and take a look at those videos. There will be at least one link at the end of this video, so go take a look at that. And as always, if you like the content, hit like, hit the subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can get notified when we post new videos. But if y'all have any content you would like to see, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about getting that done. But until then, I will see you guys on the next one.